Hey, Mark Meldrum, Northern Ohio Chevelle Club. We're down in the basement studio of Meldrum's Monster Garage working on this 1970 Chevelle SS dashboard this weekend. And as I said last weekend, I was going to need to order some parts. And well, I got to work on that. And why you can't order everything from Car Parts Warehouse or Don Sitz Auto or Great Lakes Fence, some of our sponsors, our bigger sponsors, or I'm sure I could call Albert Galdi or a number of other people in the club and maybe get some of these parts. But I took a different approach this time, and I said, hey, let's see if you can order all these parts off of eBay. Because on eBay, there's some of our major parts suppliers are on eBay, and one nice thing about it is you can put it in the shopping cart, okay, and check out all at once. So it ends up saving you time by not ordering from this vendor and that vendor, and because not everybody had everything. I checked it out. I went and looked at some of our vendors, and they just couldn't package it all together. And hey, that's what eBay does. And I was using Mike's credit card to buy some of this stuff, so I wanted to make it as easy as I could on myself also, along with his billing. So some of the things, you know, we're working on here, I'll show you. I mean, some of the things, oh, let me get to it. For instance, I won't need to do a thing except maybe polish or just dust it off this 1970 Chevelle speedometer with 23,603 miles on it. Made January 14th, a little stamp on the back, 1970. But other parts, they look horrible. So look at this. I mean, look at all the rust and corrosion spots on this. And I know I could spend a lot of time cleaning this up and whatnot. Look at all the rust on back there. But hey, I went ahead and ordered one of these pieces to kind of save myself some time. And I tell you, this piece is about the only piece I'm not happy with. And one thing it's kind of cool, is the new piece is exact same stamping, but this guy basically put a nice cadmium plating on the back. But when he shot the paint on this, and I know you can't really see it too well in here, but the paint is put on sparingly in the corners here. Now you'll probably never see that, but boy, what a shoddy job. And I tell you, I'm gonna call this guy out, Keith Classic Auto and salesperson number 8. Poo-poo on you. You know, I might have to shoot a little extra white on there. I don't know. I'll take a look at that. But other parts came in really nice, such as the circuit board. You can see there's the old circuit board, and you know, it's seen its better day. Okay, went ahead and ordered that, and it might be a different color, but you'll never see that behind the dash. But here's a brand new circuit board. I won't have to worry about that. And other pieces that I went ahead and ordered that were very nicely packed. You got this new clear piece. Okay, it's still got some protective coating on here, little plastic pieces on there. But I tell you, the old piece, you can see it's scratched up and just all kind of foggy, and really no restoring that. I mean, I could polish it and that'd drive me nuts. There'd be some deep scratch in there that I wouldn't get out. But as you can see, how I got this out was these things, they melt the plastic, and I took a soldering iron and popped that off, and that's the way you do that. Okay. Hey, this video is kind of going long, but I did want to mention happy birthday to Bill Gerald's 1966 Chevelle. Lives in the Chicago area. Black SS Chevelle with a 3-speed. You don't often see 3-speeds, but happy birthday, Bill. 82 years young. Just love you. I love to visit you. Okay, let's look at some of the other parts here. Some of the parts are really super tiny, like the for the clock. And we'll talk about the clock more, but here's the little jewel piece for the clock. Had quite a bit of corrosion on the clock, and I don't know if you know this, but the clock Okay, here's the clock. I don't know if it works or not. We'll put some power to it, see if it works. But clocks have points in them, just like your points for your distributor. And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for, you know, forever. So as long as you got a battery connected up, this clock should remain running. And as everybody knows, the points eventually wear out and the clock stops running. And then I'm sure they stop running, the gears get a little corrosion on them, and then they even get harder to turn. So we'll take this apart a little bit, and we'll see if we can take a look at the points, see if they're burnt up really bad, see if there's any material left, and decide how we're going to fix that. So that will be a challenge. Okay. Other pieces that came in. Let's look around here. This is the bezel that goes on the light, and also let me look over here from Classic Industries. You can see the old light had some corrosion around it, and of course got a nice brand new one there, and it looks like an exact reproduction, no problem. The lines are the same, looks really nice. So that should go well. All right. So I got some miscellaneous other parts here that we'll look at replacing. Like I said, this is kind of going long, and we'll shoot some other shots today. Shout out to everybody going bowling tomorrow. So we'll see you at bowling tomorrow. And also maybe we'll get over to Mike's garage and work on the frame today. We'll see what happens. I got a lot of projects around the house, not only this dashboard. It's 26 degrees Fahrenheit out here in northern Ohio, so it's still kind of chilly out there. It's supposed to go up to 51. So maybe I'll get out of the basement and into the garage fairly soon. So, hey, Mark Meldrum, Northern Ohio Chevelle Club, get out there and work on your Chevelles. See ya! Hey, Mark Meldrum, Northern Ohio Chevelle Club, and we're down in the basement studio tonight, as you can see. And I'm sure all of you are struggling along this week, just like I am with this coronavirus. I mean, I did get a part in the mail today. That was pretty cool. I don't know if I mentioned this, but ordered a new clock for this 1970 Chevelle Dash. And just to give you my review of this clock, it came off of eBay on Parts Place, and it's pretty close to being an exact reproduction, but it's pretty close is not exact. This is a quartz clock, so you will see the instead of the clock hand moving smoothly around like a normal clock would that is mechanical, this being a quartz clock, it will go toot, 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 toot. But the good thing is this thing will never wear out, whereas this clock, I did test it, it did not operate, and I looked at a few YouTube videos on how to repair it, and I think I would need at least 2 or 3 clocks to even help repair this, because taking this sucker apart is brutal. I mean, there's a good chance that I could bust this second hand and the hour hand and the minute hand off, and then once you get things prying apart inside with the motors and all the little clock parts, I just don't think I'm well suited to do that. Maybe a clock repairman is no big deal. Maybe we'll find a place to send it and have it repaired. I don't know. But some of the differences, of course, one thing I'll really miss if we end up using this quartz clock is this 1970 Chevelle stamp on the back that says this clock was made January 26, 1970. That was pretty cool. And this clock, of course, is a little bit different on the back, but all the holes and mounting brackets are basically exactly the same. So I've already test fit this into the dash, and it will work out just fine and dandy. The color, of course, this is glow in the dark color. It looks slightly a little more blue than what this is, but of course this clock is 50 years old. This is probably what it looked like brand new. I mean, I take parts at work and I stick them in a drawer for long periods of time to see what happened with colors of plastics. And I mean, just over a period of 1 year, I'll see plastic colors change. And that's what we probably got going on here. They use the exact color to reproduce it, but when you compare it to a 50-year-old clock, they're just not the same. They're darn close. And once the lights come on in the dash and whatnot, I doubt you'll be able to tell too much. And once this color kind of fades out a little bit, I doubt you'll be able to tell. But that's the kind of things you got going on with reproduction parts and new parts. You know, people argue left and right. Oh, look at this NOS part. It's perfect. It's the same color from 1966. I'm sorry. I'm an engineer. I deal with colors a lot at work, and I know that colors fade over time, and that isn't the way that color looked 50 years ago. My opinion. Anyway, even if it stayed in a box and it's still not going to be the same color. But somebody did ask me, I've got the new plastic on here. It looks nice, very nice. And somebody asked me, how did you get the new color on? The plastic part on here, and basically took a soldering iron, and that's how this was. It was melted on all these little dots around here. I don't know if you can see that up close here, but right here and right here, they're melted. So I melted it just to pop it off. And then putting it on again, I used a soldering iron to get it nice and flush. It took a few times around, working my way around to get this thing to set flush, but it's looking nice. So we got that going on. I did order a vent kit. So that's very, very nice, all chrome plated vent kit. That should work out very nice, but I don't have my mounting hardware to go on the back, so we got to get back over to Mike's and start looking for some mounting hardware. So there you go. I mean, I'm rambling on here a little bit, but there you go. There is your midweek report. Mark Meldrum, Northern Ohio Chevelle Club. Stay safe. Keep yourself distant from other people, but don't keep yourself socially distant from people, because we all got to get along and we all got to get through this together. So. All right, Larry and I are working on the dash today. We found a new table and we've already got it filled up. That's kind of funny. But called up my buddy Tom Reitler, and he told us we should start installing the wiring harness on the dash before we put it in there. So that's what we did. I think a very helpful tip he gave me was to start with these two push pins. Put those two push pins in first. And of course you got the fuse box laying off the side here. So we got a lot of connectors connected up right now here, and looks like we got the radio installed and got the cigarette lighter installed. I do have the old wiring harness. And why don't you use the old wiring harness? Well, it's been cut into, the wires are brittle on it. And it'll be just a lot safer scenario to have a new wiring harness on here. So that's where we're at today. I got a lot of questions, like it's an AM radio. It's got the two speaker wires coming off of here. And I imagine that's another type of plug like this, a jumper plug that I don't have. So we'll have to look into that. And we'll have to look into a speaker that I imagine goes into the dash pad. So,
can we talk to the owner?
What's that?
Can we talk to the owner of the car?
Yeah, we called up the owner of the car to figure out, there was some extra switches and things, and one of the switches was to switch over to an 8-track radio. Larry's working on the center console pieces right now.
Yeah, the seatbelt holders.
So we got a lot of, we worked on the engine here a little bit today, got it primed, but still working on that. That's about it today. I'm tired. Time to go home.
The switches in the door.
Oh yeah, we did get the switches in the door today. Here's the car itself, just so you can see the car. And we did get the switches installed down here.
Mark worked on the headliner.
Headliner. I got the insulation up here on the headliner, and I've got the headliner laid out with the bows in the correct spot. So I'm gonna let that flatten out a little bit before we tackle that project. All right, see ya. All right, trying to chase down electrical problems on this dashboard, and I found one pretty darn quick. And if you look at this housing, you see the tab on the right, and the tab on the left is missing. Here's a correct one. See how it's got tabs for electrical connections on both sides. So there's one issue I've found. Mark Meldrum, Meldrum's Monster Garage, and we are in the driver's compartment of the 1970 LS6 Chevelle. And I have been chasing electrical gremlins in this dash ever since we got it together. And I think I finally got them sorted out. It started with replacing the printed circuit board on the back of the dash, because all sorts of weird things were happening. I mean, the windshield wipers weren't working right, and the gauges were going wacko, and I tracked all the grounds down and they were properly connected. So I ended up changing the printed circuit board. Now, I don't know, I didn't want to talk about this because I've already done this before and it was kind of disappointing, but here we go. All right, my radio's kind of working. Let me turn that off. And I don't have everything back together, but you can see I got a blinker and I got a blinker. I didn't have that before. And we've got an oil light. I didn't have that before. And we turn on the lights and I got dash lights and I'm super happy about that. And when I turn the wipers on, they actually work like they're supposed to. I was actually going to high position and it would go into park. I changed out the switch on that. So, all right. So we got that going on. And like I said, I got the radio going on. And even the clock's working. Look at that. So we are back in business. And I am super happy. I think we even got the brake lights work. Let me click those real quick if I can find it with my foot. I think I got something in front of it right now. Ugh. Anyway, trust me, it works. Where we go? I know the emergency brake light works. There, that works too. So we're good there. I still got to connect up the thing there. There we go. There you can see the little light there. So, back in business. Hooray. All right, here's the real test. Is it going to start up? Oh yeah, she starts up. All is good in the world now. Tachometer's working. We got amperage. We got fuel gauge. Here, let me turn the light on so you can see that. Temperature gauge is probably coming up. Oh, I can even see over here the fans. Oh, that comes on. All is well in the world. Clock works. I guess I better set that. All right. See ya.